Oh, hey, what's going on, everybody? CMac from CMac Cooks coming at you. Probably expected to see Josh and Babe, but as you've probably seen, a bunch of YouTubers and social media cooks are kind of holding down his channel for a little bit and doing guest stints while Josh is dealing with some health issues. So I guess I'm the next one up, and it is we're talking Thanksgiving. So first of all, Josh, buddy, we're thinking about you. Stay strong. We got your back. And as you can see behind me, I got the big Arteflame fired up. We're gonna do a little turkey on the rotisserie on the Arteflame. So as you can also see, it's a little cold out here today. It's in the 30s. So I'm bundled up a little bit, but we're gonna give it a good old try. Put this 22-pound bird that we've prepped, and we're gonna get that on the rotisserie here in a minute. So thanks for joining. Oh, one other thing, we're gonna do a little chestnuts roasting on an open fire. Well, I'm gonna do it on the Arteflame too. Cast iron, butter, Vermont maple syrup, and yes, some bourbon. So hang around with us. We're gonna have a good time. Hope everybody is having a great holiday week, and happy Thanksgiving. Now let's get to this bird. Okay, so our first step is we're gonna be doing a dry brine on this bird. And I like to just keep it simple. I like to get a little roasting blend of fresh herbs, and we will dice rough chop these guys. Yes, I know I got stems in there, that's okay. And we don't need all of it. So we'll get that in. I've got about 3 tablespoons of kosher salt. By the way, I'm dry brining because I got a pretty good bird. I think you really only need to do wet brining if you got a cheap bird or you're cooking in a cooker that does really consistently dry out your meats. Otherwise, and the last few years I've done on the Big Green Egg, this year and do it on the Arteflame rotisserie, I think we'll be good. We've got a good locally sourced bird. And then of course, we're gonna hit it with some Uncle Steve Shake competition bird powder, because if it flies, it fries. So I'm gonna end up putting more of this in before I cook the bird, but we're gonna add it in as part of the brine. And it is, by the way, we'll be able to brine this bird for about 3 days. So we'll give him a good brine and be back in a second, and we'll rub that bird down. Okay, so we've got our bird defrosted. Obviously taking the neck and the giblets out, those I'll use for gravy, and kind of dried it off a little bit most of the way. Did a little trimming to the little knob on the kind of the back of the neck, and if there's any, probably could have. There we go. We'll do a little extra trim there, and so now we're ready to go ahead with the dry brine. So again, just salt. I've got a little bit of Uncle Steve's Shake, the competition bird powder in here. I'll put that on the skin when I get ready to cook it. But for the brine, mostly salt and herbs. So we're gonna go under the skin. And I like getting way under there on the breasts. Just massage that in there. And this is, of course, where you really want your gloves on, because it's going to get a little messy. And you also got to be careful, of course, with any poultry and cross-contamination or getting it all over your kitchen. So I've got that breast well seasoned. I also like doing it down on the legs, which are some of my favorites. Dark meat guy. Get it down as far as you can. So when you're separating the skin from the breast and the rest of it, you'll notice there's also another little membrane. You want to get under that membrane too. So you're actually seasoning the meat. I'll turn it around and show it in a minute. But we're going to get this salt in there. You want to put some salt in the cavity as well. Do a couple tablespoons. Massage that around. And I'll get rid of the extra water in the bottom of the sheet pan before I put it back in the fridge. So when you dry brine, you'll see instructions. Some people like to, once it's all rubbed, they like to put it back in the fridge in a bag or maybe in your roasting pan with plastic wrap over it. I like to do it open like this. So again, the bird also dries out through that process, and you'll be able to get that nice crispy skin. I'm gonna rub the skin a little bit too. I'll get the skin more rubbed when we actually get ready to cook it. So the dry brine is mainly going inside on the meat, but it cannot hurt getting a little bit more on it as well. So that is our bird. So again, he's going to go in to the fridge, our downstairs fridge, so I don't have to worry about anything else touching him. We're going to see this guy in another couple of days and get ready to throw him on the rotisserie on the Arteflame. And I'm excited. It's going to be some good eating. So we'll come back in about 48 hours or so, or actually 3 days, and pick up from there. Okay, happy Thanksgiving. So here we are. So when we talked last, we were dry brining our bird, and here it is. You can actually see how it's leached out some liquid. Actually, I poured some off, and we got a little color change on the meat. We rubbed it underneath the skin. So now what we're going to do is we're going to finish prepping our bird. We'll get it, we're going to get some butter also down inside the cavity and underneath the skin on the breast and the drums. We'll get some aromatics inside, a little bit more of Uncle Steve Shake bird powder, and we'll tie it up a little bit because when it's on the rotisserie, obviously you don't want the wings flapping. Caw, caw, caw. So we'll tie her up a little bit, get her on the rotisserie, and in another couple of hours, we will get her out on the Arteflame. So let's get the butter on. So the skin has already been separated as we did the other day. I'm just going to get some pats in there. It will melt beautifully. And that fat will give it lots of great flavor, and baste it as it's cooking. Oh, I'll tell you what, it already smells fantastic. I cannot wait. I don't think you can have too much butter, to tell you the truth, so we're going to load this puppy up. Get a little smushed in there. I'll get some, since we separated the drums, get a couple of pats in each drum. So some of this obviously will kind of leak out and continue to baste, but that is going to be some beautiful, beautiful flavor. Down in there, and we'll throw this last pat inside. So I'm going to go ahead, I've quartered an apple. I think these were Macintosh apples. Quartered up yellow onion. This bird doesn't have a huge cavity. That's all good. We'll get some carrots in there. Now some of this will fall out while on the rotisserie, but that's okay. Better job I do tying everything up, we'll be safe. So we've got our bird stuffed, and I'm going to hit it with a little bit more of this shake down in the cavity. Let that soak in there, down in the gaps between. Oh, that is fantastic. And I'm also going to give this bird a little shake shower on the outside too, right? How about you guys? I love some yummy, crispy turkey skin. So we're going to get this guy nicely coated, flop him over. The dogs are coming out. They smell Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is in the air, or at least in the kitchen right now. All right, there we go. We are nicely seasoned. All right, now the fun part. I'm going to truss it after I get it on the rotisserie. Let's get this bad boy skewered up here. So you can see it's obviously important with the cage that you get it nicely centered. You don't want it to be wobbling around either. I think we're good. Now if I have to adjust that a little bit while it's on, I can do that, but that's going to be pretty good. And again, as you can see, the wings are flopping, so we will truss those. We don't want our bird to be flying away. So I'm not going to do a fancy chef truss on this guy. I really just care again about the wings. Everything else is pretty solid. This guy trussed up. Doesn't look like he's going anywhere. The legs I think we're good. So there you go. Yeah, not bad. Not the prettiest truss job, but it'll work. So, gonna let this guy rest a little bit. He's only about an hour out of the fridge. Let him rest a little bit more, and then we'll get our fire started and put this bird on. So hang out with us. We'll be back. Okay, thanks for coming back. So we get the fire going nicely. I think I'm going to start it. Actually, probably we'll keep it on the top rung the entire time. But we're set up. And so let's get the bird on. The bird's rested for at least a couple of hours, and we're ready. Let's do this. Put that over there. Manage just as the wind kicks up. So we'll get it into that side with the motor. We'll drop it and tight. All right. Make sure we're tight here on the counterbalance. All the way in. And there we go. So I did a pretty good job getting it even. Could have moved it over a little bit. But it looks pretty well trussed. It's clearing everything pretty well. If I need, what I'll probably do is towards the end of the cook, with maybe 15 degrees before the temp that I'm going for, I think I'll move it down. I'll make sure the wood's down. I think I'll move it down to just make sure the skin is totally crisp. But I think we're looking good. So I'm gonna let this guy go for a while. Probably do the chestnuts in a little bit when we come back. But I'm gonna sit down. I got the fire pit going too. I'm gonna sit down near the fire pit, have a beer. So we'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Bird's doing nice. Put a little bit more wood on the fire. Actually centered him a little bit more. Seem to be slipping just a little bit. So good. A little butter. Cast iron. The cast iron's nice and hot. Anybody else do chestnuts? I've only done them one other time. They're pretty tasty. And I think they'll be even more tasty with some maple sugar, maple syrup, and bourbon. We'll flambe them. Flambe them is always fun. Get that over the fire a little bit better, a little bit more. And I'm gonna get these guys in. And we're just gonna get these guys nice and coated with that butter. Okay, so as you can see, the turkey's still going, it's crisping up. I had to kind of remount it, retruss it a little bit, but our chestnuts roasting are going good. So let's see if we can get a little flambe here. All right, there we go. Flambe, light me on fire. So these things are smelling really tasty. They may be about ready. I'm actually going to move them over to a cooler part of the Arteflame. That's kind of the neat thing about the Arteflame, is that depending on where you push the coals, you're going to have multi-zone heat. So that side is a little bit cooler, I believe, than this side. Although we've been going for a while, so the whole thing's pretty hot. But we're about 100 degrees in the deep part between the wing and the breast. So we still got some time left. So I'm going to, it's still cold out here, but it's nice and sunny. I'm going to taste test this, because this is important as you're cooking. Just as, again, I've covered this many times in my videos. You got to test your tongs, and you got to test the food. and drink as you're going. So come on back in a few. We're gonna be pretty close to done, I think, next time we come back. But man, you can't really see it probably, but that butter coating is caramelizing. I mean, it's, oh, forget about it. It's looking good. So we'll see y'all back in a minute. Okay, so as you can probably see, I have lowered the bird down. So we're at about 150 internal, and I've kind of moved the coals over a little bit, but we're just kind of finishing up. So I'm just moving it down for a little extra crisp, get this side a little bit more, and I think we're in good shape. So probably 15-20 more minutes and we'll be done, ready to let it rest and carve. So next time you see us, well, we'll come back when we take it off, and then we'll go up and do a little carving. All right, be back. Okay, here we are, we're back. So I know I said I was going to film when I took this off the Arteflame, and totally forgot after a couple of drinks. So here we are back in the kitchen. I'll tell you what, this turkey is hit the temp perfectly. The skin is nice and crispy. The wings that we're having flip-flopping, they're still good. Everything's still intact. And I'm not going to carve this for the video because you guys have seen turkey carving before. That's boring. Who wants to see that? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Spend a little time with me outdoors and doing a little cooking on the Arteflame. Smells wonderful. I'm going to carve it up, and hopefully everybody has a wonderful Thanksgiving. Thank you, Josh and Babe, for letting me be a part of your channel. And anybody that isn't subscribed, please make sure you subscribe to their channel. Hit the notification button. There's going to be a lot of other creators putting content on their channel until they're back with us, hopefully soon. So, thank you. Happy Thanksgiving. Cheers. CMac from CMac Cooks. I'm out.